Hi and welcome to the Studio Marco Primeau. Today I will try to do the first part of a beginner guide for Magix Samplitude Pro X6. So let's dive in. So this is the first part of our beginner guide for Samplitude Pro X6. This means the first thing that you will do with the software when you open it, and I have a first look of some of those features and how to do your first recording. So selecting the inputs and outputs of your audio interface and stuff like that. So very basic stuff. If you like that kind of video and you want to support the channel so I can do part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I don't know how up it's gonna go, and maybe it's too big for me, I don't know. So at some point I might need some help from you guys with questions, and if I did not explain something well, you should correct me and say so in the comments. If you want to support the channel to be able to achieve that, please click in the description of the video on the merch link. Buy a mug, buy a cap, or even a mask. Anything will help the channel grow and give you better content. So let's go to the computer and start right away. Before I begin, I assume that you already installed your audio interface, that you know how to do the gain level when you plug a microphone or an instrument, how to set up the gains, and how to grab some information from the analog world to the digital world with your audio interface. If you don't know anything about this, I've done another video that talk about it. Just click here and maybe it will help. So let's start with, we open the software and what does it show? It shows this, the start selection. So if you did not do any setting prior to installing Samplitude, you can go right away into the audio setup. And in the audio setup, choose the best driver that will be the fastest for your interface and for Windows. Usually those are ASIO drivers. You see I have a few. The first one is for my RMA Fireface 800. The ASIO Fireface USB is the one for my UFX. I also made some tests with Scarlett from Focusrite. So the drivers are all there. I need to select one. If you only see WDM or MME, this might be because you don't have a proper audio interface. Maybe you are using the sound card of your computer directly. This could give you some lower performance, but you can select those anyway and make some tests. Alternatively, if this is the case, try the Magix low latency driver. Probably it will be better than WDM or MME, but I recommend to have a proper audio interface, of course. So once you've chosen the driver, then you can select some settings right here in the control panel. This will open the control panel of the drivers of your audio interface. It is independent of Samplitude, but it is a requisite that is set up properly, so the performance of Samplitude will go nicely. So if we click on it, so this is the settings that I get. You will get different settings depending on how the software that manage the drivers is made as well. So don't stop with just the look. The important part first is here, the buffer size. Buffer is a way to accumulate some information before writing it down to your disk internally in your computer. So usually I start at 256 samples. and it gives a good low latency performance. But of course, if you have a very big project with 50 tracks and maybe 50 effects in real time, if you want to record something else and hear an effect in real time, maybe you will need to go higher than this. So start with 256. If there's some glitches, you can go to 512 or 1024. 256 is a good starting point. After that, what you see below is some very special things for my audio interface. So those are the options, the ADAT inputs, AES inputs, and so on. And this part too could be something interesting to check. Usually interfaces now run at very high sample rates. For me, for the work that I do, I always record and mix and master in 96 kilohertz. And of course, many of you may not need that depth of sample rate. Maybe 44 or 48 would be okay. Usually when we export to go in a CD, it will be 44 kilohertz. So some says that you better record and mix at that rate. And for video, usually a DVD will be at 48 kilohertz. So you can go and record at that sample rate as well. For me, I think that running everything at a higher sample rate will make the plugins, the effects like reverbs and emulations, work a bit better. And then at the end, I will export in a lower sample rate. So if it goes on YouTube, let's say, I will export at 24-bit 48 kilohertz. And it does not say here the amount of bits. That's another story. We will see it later on in the settings. So for me, this is good. The clock source, if you only have one interface, will be internal, of course. But me, I control the clock from another device than my interface. It is the Mytek AD96, which has a great clock, and this clocks every units that I use, any digital units that needs to be clocked together. So I have a change of clock. So it goes from the AD96, and then it goes to the Universal Audio 4710, and then it goes to the Fireface 800, and then it goes to the UFX. So that's the chain. All right, so we click OK. And then this is where we can set up the resolution. 16-bit is mostly what sound cards will use. 24-bit will offer a better sound to noise ratio, so you can record at a lower level and be safe without doing any peaks, and still be able to go up in volume and don't hear that many noise. That's the reason it is. And this is the monitoring section. So it depends of a lot of things. We will discuss it a bit further in those videos. So for now, I'm gonna leave it at like this. I'm gonna see only the audio, and I'm gonna do my monitoring via the mixer, the real-time mixer of the RMA UFX. If you don't have a real-time mixer, that's why you need to activate, let's say, the mixer FX like this hybrid. So Samplitude will do the redirections of the signal for you. And the down part of this is that it will take more CPU, more memory, and there might be some latency depending on your drivers and how many effects you're using on the tracks you want to record and hear. But the upside is that you will hear the real-time effects. So if you want to put a reverb on your voice while you record, well, this will apply. But of course, latency can happen. Latency is what? It is the time between what is happening in front of the microphone, going in your the interface in the software, being processed, and being put back to you in an analog world on your speaker or on your headphones. So that might be a delay, and that's why we try to keep the buffer as low as we can. So I click OK. Whew. Already something complex just to start with, eh? So 2 sections, create new projects, and from templates already there, or open projects that were already created. And actually, I don't use the from template section there. The thing is, not only those are templates, but they will create a folder, and in the default folder of the software, we can set that in the settings. But what I prefer to do is go here in multi-project and then choose the folder right away where my projects will be. So right now we're doing beginner Samplitude. I will create a new folder and be like this. Samp. Okay. And so we can rename it as well. Part 1. And right here, there's a project templates that you can use. Those could be your templates if you want to create some. It's convenient if you are recording the same kind of projects over and over. You don't start from scratch. Or if you're recording an artist and there's many songs with the same structure, you can use a template to recall what you did on the first song. So that's good. Let's use this one anyway. All right. So you are in Samplitude now. There's a lot of things to know everywhere at the bottom. First thing that you should try is the workspaces. This is the power user workspace, but there's a few others. If your screen is not so big, you can try the big icons. Those are a bit bigger here and a bit bigger at the bottom. And every section are collapsible. Of course, this is the timeline page, and you can open a mixer as well. The mixer can be opened from here. Okay. And of course, the channels here is a replica of a channel here with more details. Okay, so we can see the inputs. The inputs will be audio inputs right here. And after that, let's put it closer. The name is right here. And it is right here as well. Okay. After that, the gain. Where's the gain? Yeah, the gain is right here. And after that, we have delay compensation, which I never use. The auxes, which allows to send the signal somewhere else while sending it to the master output. Okay, let's pause and try other workspace. The default. Like I said, this can go down. After that, mastering, which give us CD tracks and stuff like that. Analyzer, good. And post-production, if you time it with a video or something like that. And power user. Power user will put the object editor and everything already separated from the timeline page, but you can dock it just like this, and it's docked there. Okay, and if you want to put it somewhere else, you can go on the top left here and drag it where you want it. Okay, so that's nice. You can put it there maybe. Not so good looking, eh? So let's go to big icons for the video. It will be nice. And let's continue the difference with our mixer. Right here. Okay. After that, this is the plugin section. The plugin section can be found right here. You can add some plugin, and it can be found right here as well. Okay. And after that, EQ section, which is at the bottom here, but you don't find it in the timeline lanes. We can find solo, arming, the record, mute, and this is the automation status, so you can read or you can record it by touch, and there's other options for the automations. Automations help you have some changes while the song is playing. So maybe a section of the vocal should be louder. You can automate the change of the level or the panning or everything. You can automate a part of a plugin as well. Change the frequency band on an EQ or the threshold on a compressor. So there's a lot of things you can do there. So if you want to go back to the settings, you can hit Y on your keyboard or go in File and Program Preference, System Audio, maybe something like that. There you go. If I hit Y, that's what it does. So we still have access to the audio setup, but there's other things. Another important thing is this page, which is the audio devices. You need to select all the inputs and all the outputs that you want to use. So you see me, I did not use all those outputs because I don't need them, so they won't show in the mixer as outputs. And of course here I could deactivate some inputs and they won't show on the tracks if I want to record. So those, if we hit OK, can be found right here. Let's say it's mono. The inputs are all here, and the outputs will be right here, stereo master, etc. And if you want to see it on the mixer, you have the input on the top and the output on the bottom right here. You choose the output. So this means you can send a signal of one track, not to the master channel directly to your speakers or headphones, but you can send them to a sub-mix bus, on which you can put some effects, and then this mix bus can go to the master channel, or you can send it to an external device. If your audio interface has many outputs, you can have separate outputs to go to headphone amps maybe. That's what I have. I have 6 different headphone mixes. So if I want to send this to a different one, we can do some reamps. So let's see right here, I named an output reamp, I named an output phones, I named also an output clicks. Actually, I did make a mistake there. Let's correct it. Those output, the names could be changed, so that's a good thing. Right here I just see okay, click. All right, so those are the 2 first thing you should set. The rest can wait. If you want to record, we can do it right away. For me, if you want to hear what I'm recording, I'm gonna set up a sub-mix bus like I just discussed earlier. So you can go on the mixer here at the top, click on setup, and then I'm gonna add a submix bus. It will go at the end. What I will do is rename it main, and then my tracks will go to the main, and the main still go to the master. For now it does not do anything, but if I decide to select an auxiliary bus and send it to a different output, which I will do, phones, and then my main can go into phones like this. I'm going to put some levels to it like this. So this means every signal will go to the main bus, and this main bus is replicated to this output here, phones. Why am I doing this right now? Because I'm using OBS to record the audio, and it needs a separate output from the DAW. So that's why. So we will deactivate the recording. We will set up the input. This will be a mono, yes, and the output is the 11th track on my interface. And now if we go back and monitor only the peaks, you can see that there's some levels going in. So let's test the recording. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. And if we want to play it back, we just click on. So this is a test. So the idea here is that if I go to my mixer again, if I play back, so this is a test of recording from, so you see the signal goes to main and the main goes to aux. And why I'm doing this is I could record the main level of Samplitude while recording with OBS. But the problem with this is if I change the level of what I hear, then it will change the level on the recording, which I don't want to. So if I play again, so this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginner. All right, so this, what you just heard, is the direct sound from Samplitude being routed. All right, let's go back to Samplitude now. So once our track is recorded, we can add any effects or adjustment to it to make it sound better or to be mixed better with other sounds. And of course you can change the level here, and you see those two other places right here, they are all connected. We can change the panning, and everything goes together. So you get to decide where you like to work. So let's use the mixer for now. There's an EQ included in Samplitude that is on all the tracks. As soon as you touch one of those adjustments, it will activate. So let's make a loop. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this, all right, you see we can change the sound. If you want to have more details with this EQ, you right click on this little square and it will open a graphic view of that EQ. So we can drag and change the settings as we wish. So let's go again with this. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners video. So this is a test of recording from Samplitude for our beginners. All right. Sorry if it's annoying, but it's just a way to show you what those settings does. After that, if something else you want to do, you can add some plugins. If you go into the plugins, by clicking on this little arrow, you have this menu, and you can go in the favorites. I will show you how to set some favorites, the plugin browser, or those that you recently used. Let's go in the plugin browser. You can search, let's see, an EQ, and it will give you a bunch of EQs, or compressors. Since we already EQ'd the track, then there's some compressors. And if you want to put it as a favorite, you of course you search what you need, compressor, and you click on that little star right here, and it will show in your favorites. So let's close and go back in the favorites. You see, it's right here now, which I don't use very often, but those that you use often should be in your favorites. It's easier to find and faster to activate. All right, as you saw, very basic, but we need to start somewhere, and there's no shame. So if there's something that I said that was not clear enough, some function that I explained that was not well explained, please say so in the comments. I will add those answers to the next video, the part 2, of course. And if you liked the video, please click on the like button. Consider subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications so you'll see when the next video will be up. And of course, don't forget the merch link in the description of the video. Questions and suggestions for future video in the comments, and share my videos. It's always a great help.